Algebra 2, we're in a brand new unit, 6A. We've got the properties of exponents in scientific notation. Today we're going to deal with the product and power rules of exponents. And in fact, what we're going to really take a look at today is this idea. If I gave you a to the m times a to the n, you're going to be able to combine those by adding the exponents. And this is on that second page right here. For example, if I give you x to the third times x to the fifth right here, you can see a 3 and a 5. Yep, it's going to, plain and simply, all you got to do is add those two powers together, right? And then you're going to get an 8. So nice and simple, we can do that super fast. The reason why you can do that, imagine if I gave you x to the third, that's literally 3 x's multiplied together. X to the fifth, literally that would be 5 x's together. At the end of the day, you just add up the total number of x's and that's what you got. Okay, so that's a very important property. That's the product property. Today we're also going to deal with this power of a power. Powers to powers are more powerful. We multiply them together. Just remember that. For example, if I gave you x to the second to the third power, you multiply the 2 times 3, you'll get a 6, right? This is also applicable if you've got 2 items inside of the parentheses. You'd apply the m power to both. And right here, this 2x to the third, what you're going to see is you'd apply the third to both of these. And what is 2 to the third power, by the way? 2 to the third power, 3 2's multiplied together is 8. So that's really what we're going to be dealing with today. I want us to real quickly take a look at these 5 problems. Pay attention to the directions. I can use the properties of exponents to evaluate and simplify the expressions. Now, when you just see an x, there is a power. What power do we have here? It's x to the first, right? And what are we going to do with all these powers, guys? Plain and simply, add them up. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. You're done. That's all you got to do. Multiply x to a power and x to the power. You write 1x and you add all the powers up. Now, when we're looking at number 2 here, you got to be careful because they're mixing them. First, I also want you to notice you've got a 2, a 6, and a 3. If I just told you 2 times 6 times 3, 2 times 6 is 12. And what's 12 times 3? 36, right? But then you're going to have x to the first times x to the seventh. I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is you got to pay attention to your x's. Simultaneously, you're later in a second going to be paying attention to these y's. You're not going to be able to combine x's and y's all together. You separate them. So here I've got x to the first, x to the seventh. I'm going to add those powers. Here I've got a y to the fourth, y to the fifth. I'm going to have to add those powers. So I multiplied my numbers of 2, 6, and 3. 1 plus 7, you get an 8. 4 plus 5, you get a 9. And we are done. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, next one. We just said a second ago, powers to powers are more powerful. When you have a power to a power, what do? Multiply them. 3 times 4, guys, you're going to get a 12. Done. That's it. Last one for example 4. You've got 2 items that are being raised to the second power. So that's like 3 to the second and then x to the second. Well, we've got one more after this, pardon me. But what's 3 squared, guys? 9. It's 3 times 3, right? Here's our final one. I apologize. This is the one you got to be real careful about. you're going to cube three different items. The number in front should get cubed also, especially when you've got a negative. Put it in parentheses, guys. You'll have -2 to the third. Now I've got powers to powers. Powers to powers are more powerful. We multiply them. I've got y to the fourth, but I'm going to multiply that 4 by the 3 also. So 3 times 3 here is a 9. 4 times 3 is a 12. And you can wonder what -2 to the third is. Now, if you're ever worried about, double checking that, you can use your calculator to get some help. But it's really saying take -2, multiply it to itself 3 times. You can see you'd get -8. A -2 times a -2 times a -2 is -8. And we are done.